Good morning, everybody. We're going to conclude the week of reviews with our look at Paul McCartney's first solo album after the breakup of the Beatles. Actually, the release was delayed, I think, until the Beatles broke up. Until the release of Let It Be, because John, Paul, and George, I guess, didn't. They asked him to wait because they didn't want it in the press that he had left, that Paul had left the Beatles quite yet. But I love this record. There's so many of my favorites on here. It's not even funny. But my particular favorite is That Would Be Something. But one of my absolute favorites is the little tune that opens the record, Lovely Linda. Actually, that was recorded, the Lovely Linda. Actually, that was recorded in Paul's house. You can hear Linda walking through while he's recording it, and you can hear the door squeak as she comes in. Most of this record was recorded at Paul's home little studio that he had set up. He had a tape machine set up, and what he would do is, I think he said it was a little 4-track tape machine. And what he would do is, basically play all the instruments himself. Actually, he does play all the instruments himself. He called it a guerrilla way of recording, which meant, kind of no frills, just simple. That's what he wanted his first record to be after the Beatles, and also during after the demise of the Beatles, and during this time, like I said, the Beatles were on the way out, and Paul was not kind of in the best of shape physically or mentally. He around this time he had been drinking a lot. He was a little depressed because of the breakup of the Beatles and restless, and so he didn't know what to do. So he decided to record a record. And another one of my favorites is, one of my absolute favorites though, is Man We Was Lonely. That is like my favorite, probably my favorite song on the record. And of course it's got classics like Every Night, perhaps the biggest hit on the record, Maybe I'm Amazed, although it didn't really become a hit until 1976, when it was released as a single off Wings Over America. And actually, I was quite surprised when I was preparing for the video yesterday that there were no singles off this record, because I thought that Every Night would have been a great single release from this record. In 2011, Paul started releasing deluxe editions called the Archive series, and this was, I think this was the first release from that series. And also Linda is on vocals on several of the tracks. I think Man, We Were Lonely, and maybe a couple more. And the song Teddy Boy was an old song that Paul and the Beatles tried in the early days before they got signed. I think they tried it. They may have tried it in the Silver Beetle days, but it never it never got recorded, and so Paul decided to put it on McCartney, and so by the way, this was released on April 17th of 1970, and it was recorded between December 1st of 1969 and February of 1970. And so I think the majority of the overdubs, because in the Wikipedia article, two studios are listed: Paul's house, and then another one. I think that's the second studio is where most of the overdubs were recorded, would be my guess, because I think the majority of this record was recorded at Paul and Linda's. But anyway, and so, but I hope you really enjoy this. I give this 5 stars. Shot and produced by Annabella, audio and video provided by WeVideo and the YouTube Music Library, photo taken from Google Images, screen recording taken from Wikipedia. Achieved using iPicky.com. In case you were wondering why there's a video of a junkyard at the beginning of today's review, I always try and find videos that are relevant to either the record that we're talking about or um, to represent one of the songs on the record. And there's of course the Paul McCartney song "Junk" on Mccartney.